Today we've got another PSA return video, and this one is a little bit different than how I normally do it, and I'll get into that in a little bit, but it has to do with the offers that PSA is now making on the cards. So because those offers have been pretty competitive, I've had to take a look at those. So we'll go through all 50 cards here that I got back. Some of these I accepted offers on, so we'll flip over and show which cards I accepted offers on, why I accepted those offers, and we'll go over some of those as we get into it. But jumping right into it, we'll start here with this Arceus V alternate art from Brilliant Stars in a Gem Mint 10. I love this card. I've just personally loved Brilliant Stars in general. This is one of those where I graded this in a 10, was lucky enough to get a 10, so I sold it off and then ran the play again with 2 cards and was lucky enough to get a second 10 on this, which very rarely happens. This is sort of the dream scenario where you sell a PSA 10, buy 2 copies, grade them both, and they both grade PSA 10, because now I can sell these off and run the play again, or keep one for my personal collection and sell one off and just have it going in the future to keep running the plays. But super happy with this card. These 2 first big bangers, great way to start the submission. And then the next cards were actually ones that I accepted PSA offers on. So we'll switch over to that and we'll talk about those offers, why I didn't accept offers on the Arceus and why I did accept on these other cards. So the first one I accepted an offer on was actually this full art Eevee from Brilliant Stars. But this one is from the trainer gallery. It got a 9, and look right here, PSA paid me $28.32 for this PSA 9, which would be considered a miss in any case, obviously going for the 10, but because they're willing to pay me out so well, I just accepted that offer. And I actually had 2 of these. I'm not going to pull up the other one, but it's the same thing. They paid me exactly $28.33 on this. And when we take a look at what the price on this card is, according to price charting, grade 9 is only 20 bucks for this card. So considering they were willing to pay me more than that on this card, that it would be considered a miss, and I don't have fees with this $28, that all comes right to me. If I sold this on eBay for $28, 13% off the top would come off for fees, and then another $5 for shipping, because I'd have to offer $5 free shipping to be competitive. So in an instance like this is obviously a no-brainer play. I guess the only other consideration with this is if I anticipate this card to go up in the future, I might want to hold on to it in case it goes up. But again, with a card like this, if I get $28, I can come back here. The card's only $12 raw, so I can buy 2 more copies of this with the money that they gave me right away, $28, and run that play much faster than waiting for them to ship it back to me, waiting for me to list it on eBay, sell it on eBay, and then have those fees and shipping on top of that. So for a card like this, it made a lot of sense. In general, PSA was offering probably about 80% on most cards, especially the PSA 10 cards and cards like that. For the PSA 10 cards that they were offering 80% on, it was right there on the edge of what I would be willing to accept, because again, you're paying 13% on eBay right away. So the most you're getting from, if you sell it on your own from eBay, is 87%. So that 7% margin, is it worth selling on your own? And for the big ticket items, the big PSA 10 cards, in my opinion, it is worth selling those on your own. There's still enough money to be made there that it's worth holding and selling on your own, even though you're going to be paying that fee and then the shipping on top. But for a $200 card, if you're still paying $5 shipping, you know, that's only 2.5%. So even then, you're still making 5% more than just accepting it. So that's really on you if it's worth accepting the 5% to take the risk and take the hassle of having to sell it yourself. For me, it is. All these cards, you know, 5% here and there adds up when you're looking at 30 to 40 cards you're selling on your own. Every little 5% helps. But if you're just looking to turn and burn, honestly, the PSA offers can make sense on a lot of these cards, especially if you're getting 10s, just to be able to move them so quick and then run the play again into that. But me, I'm okay with slow selling some of these. But in a hot market, it could make sense to get as much of that premium as you can up front as soon as you can. The next one that I accepted an offer on was this Near Mint 7 Flareon. These art rare cards, the trainer gallery specifically, are pretty difficult to grade, and a lot of times you're going to have some of these 7s and 8s that are just sort of random. This thing was definitely off-centered. I was hoping to get PSA 9 art set that I could sell off together, but apparently there were some more issues with this one that I missed. So they paid me 19 bucks. And again, you're going to say, Parrish, that's obviously a loss. That's obvious. But again, I'm getting my money back much quicker and can turn around and find another Flareon that I want to try to grade again. And the losses that I'm going to take are being offset by the PSA 10s that I'm going to show you. So it's nice to be able to get out of these quote-unquote losers much faster, because the PSA 10s sell so fast on their own. I don't need help selling those. They just sell as soon as you list them. But a PSA 7 like this could be sitting on eBay for a while, just sitting there as a junk slab. It's just kind of not moving, especially for the price that I'm going to have to sell it for. And again, if I sell this, if I want a net 20 bucks after eBay fees, I'm gonna have to sell this for 25 to make up for shipping, and then probably 28, 29, 30 to make up for the 13% fee that they're charging. So there's no way I'd be able to get 25, 30 bucks on this without selling some sort of mystery product. And then I'd feel bad selling off a PSA 7 to someone. But in this case, if I can get 20 bucks out of it, which is the cost for grading, obviously I'm out the cost of the card, whatever that was, minus 10, 15 bucks, whatever. But to get my money back quickly, to be able to move quickly, I'm okay with that, especially a card like this where I'm not going to get 20 bucks selling this on eBay. And then the next card was one that I actually hit on. Again, Gem Mint 10, this Flareon here, beautiful card. I still love, again, Brilliant Stars in general, but the Evolution Trainer Gallery cards I think will do very well long term. So I'm trying to grade as many of these as I can going forward, but especially the PSA 10s, I'll sell these off and just keep running the play again because the raw cards are so cheap. And again, this PSA 10 will pay for a lot of the misses that I had here. So if there's $5 to $10 per miss, you know, a $100 to $150 win on this will go a long way in making up some of those misses. So happy to have this. I would love to get all of these in a PSA 10 set to sell together, but again, these art rare cards are so hard to grade that it's real tough in these trainer galleries. So I'll take this win and be happy with it and then move on. The next one, very similar story. I was trying to grade this in a 9, which I did, but because I didn't get the Flareon in a 9, I didn't feel like it was worth me taking this back to try to sell it. Because again, I'd probably have to sell this for $30 to net out the 20 that they paid me. So even though this is a mint 9, I probably could have got 25 bucks for it. But again, after shipping and all that, it just wasn't worth it. And this was the first time I accepted these offers, so I wanted to try it out, see how it was. And for me, a mint 9 on this is just good enough. Again, if we look at the price charting value on this, you see a grade 9 is worth $22, $24. So right at that $22 mark. And again, this is, if I'm selling on eBay, I'm gonna have to sell this without shipping, with free shipping. So I'm gonna net $5 off of that and then the fees on top of it. So in my opinion, $20 for this was more than fair. Again, it is a miss. I am losing some money on this. And one thing I should note that on some of these 9s, sometimes it's worth cracking them out and resubmitting them. So usually on a 9, I would send it back. But again, because it was the first time I'd done this, I was just messing around with this. And because these trainer gallery cards are usually so hard to grade, I didn't think it was worth it to try to crack some of these. I would just rather buy a new copy. But that is one of the things you need to look out for on these PSA 9s. Is sometimes it's worth cracking them out. So it's not worth selling them right away, even if they're giving you a pretty good return on it right away. Same story here with the Vaporeon that I got a 9. This one sold for $16.63, which is a little bit low. This is one I probably should have taken back, but again, because of how off-centered it was, I wasn't going to crack and resubmit this thing. So I really felt okay selling it at 16 bucks. You know, card ladder value showing $30 here. I probably could have sold it on my own for 30, minus 5 for the shipping brings me at 25, and then the fees probably 2 to 3. So I probably could have made $4 or $5 on this card, which is probably worth it in my opinion. So this is one that I probably should have taken back, especially Vaporeon, just popular Pokemon, popular trainer gallery. This one I would have been fine holding and sitting on, but again, I got a little trigger happy because it was the first time I was looking at these and I felt the offers were pretty good. Still, 15 bucks on this when it probably would have been sitting on my eBay for a while. Seems fine. And then one Vaporeon that I did hit a 10 on, and again, this one's just going to pay for all the ones that and again, the offer on this was about 80%, and it's a pretty fair offer for sure, but if they were at 90%, I would be taking a lot more of these, but again, at 80%, there's just more margin here that I can take, and again, the more margin that I take, the more of these offers I can take on the losers, just to move off them pretty quickly. So happy to have this one in a 10. Beautiful card. Got 2 out of 4. Not bad, not great. And then back to the misses again. This was a big one. A near mint 7 selling for $13.30. Again, I probably could get more selling this on eBay, but a 7, a lot of times those 7s just sit there in my inventory for so long that it doesn't feel good to have those. And sorry about the back and forth. Again, this is a new format. Let me know in the comments if you like it or not. But going forward, this is probably how it's going to have to be because the PSA offers are so competitive. But a lot of the offers I accepted were on the lower value cards up front. So pretty soon we'll be going back to all of the cards that I got graded, going back to more of a traditional PSA return where I show you guys the actual cards. So another one that I obviously lost out on, but to get 13 bucks back right away seems okay. 2 wins here on this. The Radiant Charizard in a Gem Mint 10. Crown Zenith. I still love Crown Zenith. I think it's the best set of the Sword and Shield era, especially this Radiant Charizard. This one and the Pokemon Go I still think are really good. The Pokemon Go one has started to jump up a little bit just because Crown Zenith was open to so much. Here's the second one, that there's a lot of these floating out there, but I still love these cards. I was unfortunately grading these when they were $5, selling them in 10s for like 45 to 50 all day. So I was making like $5 to $10 profit on these, when if I had held them, I would have made a lot more on these. But you know, it is what it is. I had to keep the wheel rolling so that I can keep capital moving. But happy to have these in the 10 for sure. Crown Zenith grades pretty easily, and then I want as many of these as I can going forward, because I think this Radiant Charizard card is a sleeper going forward. I know it was super easy to pull, but shiny Charizard card should do very well long term. So I'm happy to hold some of these, but also I want to keep moving the play just because Crown Zenith is so easy to grade. And then 2 more offers I accepted from PSA, and then we've got all but one where I just took the card back. So this Altaria from Crown Zenith, again, I pulled this myself, so I was trying, I thought it looked good enough to get a 10. It missed, so I just took the money. This is another one where I probably could have cracked it, but on a $3 to $5 card, it's not worth cracking really. So I accepted the $17.10 offer. Again, if I sell this for $25 on eBay, I'm going to have $5 shipping and then 13% fee, which will bring me right down to that 17%. But on this one, I don't have to ship it. I don't have to worry about any of that. So just easier to accept the payout on this, move the money into something else, take the loss and move on. Because again, you think about, all the losses, but if you're taking an offer on 4 or 5 of these $17 cards, it really does add up and helps you move your money a lot quicker into a new play instead of just sitting around holding your loss, as a lot of times it is harder to sell these PSA 9 cards. And then another offer I accepted here was this PSA 10 Venusaur Hollow. This was the only PSA 10 that I took, but again, with a card ladder value of $100, I sold this for $110. If we take a look at the price charting value, it shows PSA 10 at about $104. So again, they were actually paying more than some of the most recent listings, and it's because the card had been going up a little bit in the beginning of the month. You can see here $120, $121. So it was selling for a little bit higher than it is now. It's come down a little bit. So while it was high and while it was hot, I was willing to take that $110 because it was actually higher than market, especially when I'm, again, taking a fee, taking shipping and all that stuff. So this one made sense. On Celebration specifically, if you've watched this channel, that I like to sell these as a whole lot, and you'll see the rest of my cards, there's a lot of Celebrations in here. I like to sell the Celebrations, Venusaur, Blastoise, and Charizard together as a lot. But again, to test this out and I get $100 up front for a card that's worth more than I could get selling it on my own, I thought that was a no-brainer. So I sold off one of these again just to see how it goes, but I kept most of them to sell on my own as a whole lot because I like doing that. I can get more of a premium for it that way. But $110 for this on a Celebrations Venusaur, really solid payout. Again, you're paying $10 for the card, $20 to grade it, you're into it for $30, sell it for $110 right off with no fees on that is just really good, especially to get your money out a week before they can even get it back to you. So really cool one there. Just shows the power of some of these PSA offers. And then the last one here that I accepted an offer on, and then the rest will be old-fashioned PSA return. This Charizard from Obsidian Flames, I accepted an offer of $88. Again, showing card ladder value of 85, so right in the ballpark, but this thing graded an 8, which this one has been the bane of my existence. I've tried grading like 10 of these cards and still haven't got a 10. These are so hard to grade for some reason. I really don't know why. Some of the special illustration rares are pretty easy, but this Charizard from Obsidian Flames is just killing me lately. So this is one where it had run up a lot. And again, it was going to be a week before they mailed me the cards, and then I was on vacation for a whole nother week. So I didn't want to wait 2 weeks with this thing coming down in price. So I accepted an offer for $88. And again, this is probably worth $100 raw. So when you're looking at a 13% fee, you're right there at $87, and then minus $5 shipping, you're at $82. So I thought I'd get more from the PSA offer than I would get selling this on my own. And especially with a card I thought would be falling in the short term, I thought it made sense to kind of get my money back on this, because like the Venusaur, this is just a lot of money, and I could put this into another Charizard EX to try to run the play again, even though this one missed, but it just got me my money back so much quicker. And on a card like this where I could sell it as an 8 or crack it and sell it raw, but either way, I've got to put in some work on that and then still end up shipping it for $5 shipping. So it just made sense to sell it for $88 minus $5 shipping with no fees on that. It makes a lot of sense. So that was the last one that I accepted an offer on. As I mentioned, the rest of them in here are mostly PSA 10s or cards that I anticipate going up, because PSA offered pretty consistently 80%. And I, again, felt like there was just a little bit of margin left that I could make on my end. And it's worth me putting in the work to get that 5% extra margin to build up my eBay reputation and all that stuff, and to have some content for you guys. So that was kind of my thought process. But all in all, these PSA offers were very good, and they are causing me to change how I do things and look at my grades going forward when they're revealed to see those offers. I think this whole submission had about $4,500 worth of offers, and it would have made sense to me for me to sell all of them at once. And I could have done that and just been out of it. No extra effort, no extra fees, anything like that. I could have just made I forget what the margin was. I was talking with my buddy about it, and it made sense to just sell them all on my own. I think it would have been like a 60% return, which is really good, but taking them back on my own, I figured I could have done about 90%. So in my opinion, it was worth taking the extra effort on some of these PSA 10s, but there is a business model to be had, just selling all these off to PSA, who's now taking these and putting them into GameStop's power packs and all that stuff. PSA says they're not buying them themselves, they're buying with offers on behalf of other people, like Courtyard.io, like Fanatics, like GameStop, all these other mystery box products that are popping up all over the place. They need a ton of slabs, and they are getting them straight from PSA. So the offers are very competitive so that they can be put into mystery products, and it's sort of a win-win for everyone. But there's definitely a model here, even if you don't want to sell on eBay, just to sell to PSA directly. So it's definitely changing the game for sure. But let's hop into the rest of the return here. And I'll start going through much faster because, again, I've already been yapping a little bit on the big topics that I wanted to cover. So we'll just get into what the rest of my cards were. Again, Celebrations, Venusaurs, I got super lucky on Celebrations. I think the Celebrations Gem Mint 10 rate that I got was like 80-something%, which is exactly how Celebrations should be, what you expect to see. But recently, if you've been watching my videos, you've been seeing that I've been getting like 50% on Celebrations, which is kind of rough. And unfortunately, one of these got an 8, but I took this back. Their offer wasn't quite good enough. I'll crack this out and sell it myself. I think they were willing to offer me like $100, but again, this thing's worth like 125 to 130, even raw. So in my opinion, it was worth taking that one back. But I was lucky enough to get not one, but 2 Gem Mint 10s on this. So love these Charizard cards. Again, I sell these as a lot, and they sell super well. So I love Celebrations, especially when they grade this well. So Blastoise here, Gem Mint 10. Same thing here. We got another one. And Blastoise was actually the one I needed most of. For some reason, I didn't have very many of these. These have not been grading well for me recently. So super happy to get all of these because, again, if you've been watching my channel, I've been saying I'm trying to get as many of these as I can for the holiday season and for the 30th anniversary. So happy to have all these. Even this one in a 9 is okay because I'm selling them as a lot as a 9 lot as well. And Blastoise, Venusaur, and Charizard in a 9 are selling to people who can't quite afford the 10s because the 10s have gotten pretty pricey. So some people still like the art, still want the stamp, especially as 30th anniversary comes up, but don't want to pay the premium for a 10, and they've been selling 9. So I've been able to make like 20-30 bucks on these 9 sets even. So getting that in a 9 is okay, and that's another reason I had them ship that one back to me, because I sell it as a lot, so it can make sense. Birthday Pikachu in a Gem Mint 10. I love this card, especially with 30th anniversary coming up. Happy to get 2 of these in a Gem Mint 10, so those are super nice. I'll probably hold on to these long term, at least one of them, and I'll sell one off, keep running the play, but I definitely want one of those going into the future in general. Charizard EX here in a 9. This was my quest to get every Charizard from the Scarlet and Violet era in a Gem Mint 10. Obviously missed on this one, but my loss is your gain, as this will be the giveaway card of the video. So all you gotta do to enter into this giveaway is like this video, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment with what your favorite card is from the submission, or what do you think of PSA's offers? Do you think they are fair? Have you been using them if you've been grading with PSA? Or just in general, what do you think of them? And you'll be entered to win. Unfortunately, it's US only, but I'll get this shipped out to you free of charge. All you gotta do when you win is reach out to me via Instagram, TikTok, Gmail, any of those places. We'll get verified that it's actually you who owns the account, and I'll get it shipped out to you free of charge. So again, US only, unfortunately, but you get entered in to win this Charizard EX in a 9. And congratulations to the winner of the last giveaway. Your name will pop up in 3, 2, 1 right there. Bing. And I will tag you in the description below. Again, all you gotta do to claim this giveaway prize is shoot me an email, preferably, but if not email, you can reach out to me on Instagram, TikTok, all those places. Just give me verification that it's your YouTube account. Take a screenshot of your account showing that you have access to it, and I will get in contact with you for your mailing address, and I'll get this mailed out to you. Again, US only, but congratulations to you, and we will get in contact. I'll get this mailed out to you as soon as possible. And I try to do those giveaways on every single one of my PSA return videos, so subscribe to the channel and make sure you're sticking around for more PSA returns, because I've got 3 more at PSA right now. And as you saw Monday, I sent off another one. So I've got 4 submissions in at PSA right now, and we'll be having more PSA returns going forward. So subscribe to the channel if you're into that. Unfortunately, this Bulbasaur got an 8, and typically I would accept an offer on PSA 8s, but because it's a Bulbasaur, I think these cards from 151 are going to do really well, especially when sets start to rotate. But specifically the starters, I think these cards do very, very well long term. So even in an 8, there's still an opportunity for me to crack this or just sell it at raw price. And I think in the future, this card will be worth a lot more than it is now. So I'm willing to personally hold on to all of these starter cards that I get as a misses, rather than sell them off now and get my money back to try to run the play again. I just think these will go up long term, so I'm okay holding these. My plan with these was to get a set to sell together. Again, a whole 9 set, but obviously that didn't happen. But it didn't happen for good reason, because this Charmander did get a 10. And this Charmander's been going crazy recently. This is another tough one that's hard to sell personally, because Charmander's my boy. Obviously my favorite starter. I love the artwork on this. I'm trying to get all of the starter evolution, final evolutions in a Gem Mint 10, and I only need the Venusaur next. But I also have the Squirtle starter in a 10. For how much money, the market just values this way more than I do. So it makes so much more sense just to sell this off, keep running the play. Eventually, maybe I'll buy 2 and get, again, 2 Gem Mint 10s back, and I can set one aside and then sell the other. So maybe I'll eventually grow into it. But again, with the market doing what it's doing and the value on this doing what it's doing, it just makes sense to sell this off. But beautiful card. Happy to have that in a 10 for sure. Squirtle here in a 9. Again, not too heartbroken about this. I was trying to get the full set Squirtle, Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Pikachu together to try to sell off. So I'll be holding this one together, or as well, to try to build some sets of misses that I get going forward, or to hold like the Bulbasaur where I think this card will go up. So just going to hold on to that one for a little while since it was a 9. Same thing here with this Pikachu. It got an 8. I love this card. There's so many Pokemon on this card. I wish the camera had good zoom, but you can see so many cards, including the Gengar, Growlithe, Jigglypuff. This card will do very well long term, in my opinion. So I'm happy to hold on to this one and wait for that one to go up. Tangle Up. For some reason, they offered like 10 bucks for this thing. I know it's a near mint 8, which is not great and not a popular Pokemon, but I'm pretty sure I could do better than this on my own, either by cracking it or selling it raw. If I crack it, I can sell it, you know, with eBay standard envelope, and then I'm only paying $1 for shipping, or 72 cents or whatever it is, rather than the $5 for shipping the whole slab. So I might do that personally. I might test cracking slabs, because I think there's a new method for cracking these new cert slabs. So I might test on this and kind of see what happens. The Sagaro Special Illustration Rare. This one's fun because I pulled it on the channel with my Goodbye to Scarlet and Violet era opening, where I opened 2 packs of every set from the Scarlet and Violet era. And this was the one Special Illustration Rare that I pulled. Unfortunately, it's not a Pokemon, but because of the moment, because I pulled it on stream or on my channel with that video, I thought this was a cool one to get graded myself. I'll be holding on to this one forever, just because it's a cool little memento of that video. And I love those videos. Those videos are honestly my favorite. I did one with Sword and Shield, and I did one with Scarlet and Violet, and those are always my favorite videos. So I'm happy to have this. Again, happy to have any Special Illustration Rare hit. Wish it would have been a Pokemon, but happy to have the trainer, no doubt. Another card that I think is undervalued, this Pidgeot EX from Obsidian Flames, especially raw. I think this card is amazing. I think it's much better than people give it credit for. Gen 1 Pokemon, beautiful artwork on this. I love the blue background. The mention of Cycling Road here is just such a cool throwback. So many things about this card are just super cool. The texture on it is really good. So I love this card. I already have one in a 10 that I set aside because I thought this card was so undervalued. So I'll be selling this one off. But in general, I think this one will do very well long term. So happy to have that one. Another big miss. Unfortunately, this Charizard here got a mint 9, and this thing looks clean. This is my favorite card of the Scarlet and Violet era. And honestly, this thing looks really good. So I'm not sure why it got a 9. Again, it's just one of those coin flips. Sometimes you get a 9, sometimes you get a 10, but I will definitely be cracking this and resubmitting it with my next submission because this card looks amazing. So let me know in the comments if you've ever had success cracking slabs. I've had pretty good success. Been about 50%, but win some, you lose some. Team Rocket's Wobbuffet here. Typically, like I like to open one Pokemon Center exclusive ETB of every one in the era, but unfortunately I could not get my hands on this, and then Black and White was too expensive, so I didn't open them. So what I did was I bought the cards raw. Unfortunate to get an 8 on this, but for my own personal collection, I wanted one of every card of the Scarlet and Violet era with the Pokemon Center stamp on there. So this just completes that collection, even though it's an 8. Same thing here with the Thundurus and the Tornadus. Got a near mint 8 on this and then a mint 9 on this one, but both of these have the Pokemon Center stamp on there. So these will just be going into my personal collection. Unfortunate to get the grades that they did, but that's why the PSA 10s on those Pokemon Center stamps command such a premium, because they really are so hard to grade. Victini here, unfortunate to get this one in a 9. I might crack this as well. This came from obviously the premium collection box. I think this will do very well. Like the Greninja and the Kingdra promos, I just think this card will do very well as a promo card. I think Victini is a popular enough Pokemon, and this art is just so cool that this card will do well long term, in my opinion. And then the Reunculus, I just got this from one of those 3-pack blisters. And again, because it was a full art promo card, I thought this could do pretty well. Looked clean enough to send. I think I opened 2 or 3 of these, and this one was the only one that looked good enough to send. So I did happy to get the 10 on this, but I'll be selling this one off. Depending on what the market's doing, I don't want to sell with everyone selling, getting their 10s back and selling into it. If I have to wait like 6 months or something for these to kind of rotate out, then I don't mind waiting that, but we'll see what the price is doing on those. And then my Japanese cards here, I opened a box of Terrestrial Festival. And unfortunately, this was my hit of the box. Pecharunt Special Illustration Rare. Pecharunt's kind of cool, being the last Pokemon of the Pokedex, but unfortunately, new Pokemon come all the time, so he won't be last for very long. Happy to get the 10 on it, though. If you watched my last PSA return video, you'll notice all of my Japanese cards got smoked in that video. So I'm happy to get 10s on all of these Japanese cards here. And if you're saying why you're grading PSA 10s of just EX cards, well, if the evolutions at least do pretty well, so they should sell like 10 to 15 bucks for it. And when I paid for the box and opened the box, it doesn't hurt anything to send these in for grading, especially Japanese, which typically gets 10s. So I'm happy to grade some of those and sell into this strength. So that's all I've got. Thanks for watching. Sorry for the new format. Let me know in the comments what you thought of it. But I figured that's the best way to show you all of my return, as well as showing PSA's offers, where they make sense, where I didn't think they made sense. And just again, for full transparency, if I'm giving you a market update every Wednesday, I want you guys to see exactly what I'm grading, how I'm selling it, what I'm selling, and all of that information up front. So again, I'm trying to be as transparent as I can with you guys, and I hope you appreciate that. Leave me a rocket emoji if you made it this far into the chat. And I appreciate you guys for watching. Like the video if you like this kind of content. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Again, I've got 4 more PSA returns coming, hopefully before the end of the year. And then leave a comment below. It goes a long way for the algorithm. Check out one of my other videos right over there, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.